Hi, I'm Brenton with Snoozy, and what Snoozy is it's an interaction platform that solves a problem that's been facing a number of different industries, such as TV, businesses, and events. And I know those don't sound like they're very much alike, but they really are. And that is so each one of those has its own different niches of communication. And that is so TV shows will use social media. Right now there's some mild text feedback through SMS texting, but that's really only been reserved for high budget shows. Businesses will have paper feedback forms, things like that. Some of the really more established businesses will have apps, and then events will have special hardware and sometimes apps as well. But the problem is each one of those is separate, and they require a lot of times internet connectivity or special hardware. And so Snoozy goes beyond all of that stuff and allows customers to interact with businesses by texting in their comments in real time, and so these comments will pop up in a stream, kind of like Twitter, but you don't need the internet. 60% of phone owners do not have a smartphone, so this text option allows them to reach a much broader audience. Similar, the text option can be used for TV shows in a way much like American Idol style voting, where the TV show will ask the audience a question, and the audience will then respond in real time. The second they push a button on their phone to submit the text, you'll see a blip on the screen. We have a station actually in town that's one of the largest in the country that's currently using our system every Tuesday on one of their polls, and we're actually looking forward to them introducing us into some of their partner stations here shortly. For events, it's very much the same thing, where you can use any of those real-time text streams, or you can do a response. Snoozy also allows you to use that social media if you choose to, and you can vote by Twitter or Facebook. Kind of combines all of these platforms together in a way that's seamless and serves each one of these industries. Behind that, even adding further to it, is it has an analytics platform that allows you to see detailed information about new users, returning texters, where their area codes are, and a number of different really valuable components supporting that interaction that you have. So not only do you have more satisfied participants, you're engaging them deeper, and you're also getting detailed information about who they are. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Right now we're looking for investment here so that we can continue developing Snoozy further and deploy it even farther, more beyond than what we already have. Thanks a lot. Been getting a lot of traction with a number of retail business owners in the Bay Area as well, like right now, actually, the system on snoozy.com you can interact with live, and the second you push, you text in your response, you'll actually see that tick. So
Brenton, looks like you've got 15 seconds left.
Okay, sorry. So it solves this problem of isolated interaction and brings it all together into one inexpensive component, and now we're looking to funding to take it to the next step.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We're so glad to have you back with us.
Glad to be back.
And I'm just going to actually pass it over to the judges, who are going to start off our question and answer session. And you know George, of course, who is the legendary audio guru who's worked on some of your favorite video games. And we're really happy to have him here with us, as well as we've got Axar, who is an angel investor. So these are some great judges, and hopefully they'll provide you with some awesome questions and some great feedback. George, do you have a question?
Yeah, Brenton, let's say that I'm struggling to pull together the technological side.
I can't hear George.
Okay. How about this? Can you hear me now?
Very vaguely. Okay. Can you turn up your microphone input? Sorry.
I'm going to turn up. Now my microphone is hitting really hard. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think if I can hear you.
Okay. Could you turn up the volume on me, Greg? Now, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
See, if you had your phone, you could text me your question.
Now, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We've got a room full of people, and a few people distant, a few people somewhere else. We've got a very distributed network of people who have to be interacting real hard right now. How could Snoozy help us in our specific situation?
Well, so Snoozy allows people anywhere to interact, regardless of internet connectivity. So if we were having connectivity problems right now, they would be able to text in their answers, questions, and I would be able to respond in real time. The second they come in literally within a couple of seconds, and I can address them individually. I can also then address those individual question posers back specifically.
So who would have, is there like a central command then? I mean,
Correct.
would we give our director or producer the central command for Snoozy?
Right, and so it's all cloud-based, so the person who is running the show, per se, has a web portal that they use to create, they type in their question. It really takes about 3 seconds. They hit start, and that's pretty much it. All that's required on the side of the participants is text-enabled smartphone.
All right, so thank you so much, Brenton. We're just going to move on to Axar to see if he has any questions for you.
Yeah, sure. So 2 questions. First of all, do you see this as purely a technology play, or do you also provide some sort of services on top to enable this to happen?
Well, the services are somewhat minimal in that it allows the user to pretty much establish it on their own. So this, where these technologies used to be, especially in the realm of television, there used to be a high barrier in terms of technology to implementation. This allows users, I mean, honestly, this is something that someone with zero technological skill could implement very quickly and deploy really rapidly.
Yeah, I think you're right, Brenton. I think that would be quite useful for us to have right now. With the technical difficulties we've experienced now and again, it would be very helpful for everyone to be able to text questions and text, of course, the startups questions. So, it's a very promising, I think, helpful technology you've got there. Now we're going to move on straight into the feedback portion. So we'd like our judges to both give you their feedback as well as provide a score from 1 to 5. George, why don't we start with you?
I can't do it yet. So if I'm the producer of the show and I'm sitting up in my ivory tower at the top of Beverly Hills, and I would send out, what the heck is going on with the sound here today? And then I would get 23 answers back, and I could sort through them. Is that the idea?
Exactly. So you would get this live stream of, have you checked your power cable? Have you checked your headphones? Have you checked your settings? And they would essentially just stream in, and you'd be able to scroll through them. They would also have the contact information of those people. So in the case of retail, if you get a text that says, my soup is cold, you can call that person directly and ensure that you're going to keep them as a customer.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, I'm starting to catch on to it. I think that the use cases have to be put forward just a little bit better for guys like me who haven't quite woke up yet or need their nap. So I'm going to give that a 4.0, and I'm going to thank you very much, and I hope that when you come back, you'll be able to kiss up to me and make it easier for me to understand.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Axar, what about you? A score and your feedback.
Yeah, I think more focus on, applications, sure, like use cases specifically, but also on the cost reductions or the cost of your service. So it's, for me, the question is it really best for you to go after movie studios, or is it better for you to go, university TV channels or third world countries who have some sort of content that they're trying to push? And,
all right, Axar, what's your score?
4.2.
4.2. Okay. So, Brenton, did you find that helpful?
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys taking the time, and that helps me refine my approach a little bit.
Yeah, and I hope that this is giving you the kind of exposure you really need, helping you get some more traction, and we hope to see you on the Sweet 16 with us again here at Agora Startup Idol. So thank you so much, Brenton, and we hope to see you soon. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have our next startup here with us? Steve Warner. All right, well, while we're getting Steve on the line, I just want to take a few moments to thank our sponsors. We're here at Hacker Dojo, which is a co-working space in Mountain View. We're just a few miles from Google and miles from, you know, all of the greatest once and former startups that you guys are all very well familiar with and have a huge impact in your lives. So that's a great thing about startups. You know, they're startup, and the next minute, you know, we can't imagine living without them. So that's what we're really here to do. We're going to provide these startups with the essential attraction they need, give them some great feedback, and with that, it looks like we've got Steve here. Steve?
Yes.
Steve,
hello,
can you hear me? Yes, I can.
Yes.
I can hear you. So we've got Steve from Q-Track Corporation, and we're really happy to have him back with us. And with that said, your 2 minutes to pitch begin now.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Werner, CEO of the Q-Track Corporation. Q-Track's mission is enabling knowing where, anywhere with our patented real-time location systems, or RTLS products. We provide high-accuracy outdoor tracking at long range with minimal infrastructure. We operate at low frequency, and our signals can penetrate walls requiring 1/3 of the infrastructure of competing high-frequency systems. We can track nuclear workers, overhead cranes, coal miners, forklifts, corrections officers, healthcare workers, or retail employees with 1 to 3 foot accuracy. We're delivering products in 3 markets and ready to scale elsewhere. We have a proven team with experience in technology, marketing, operations, and finance. We followed the Bose model, using $6 million in government R&D contracts to mature our technology into products. This allowed the principals and early investors to avoid dilution and preserve shareholder equity. Last year, we had revenue of $1.4 million, and $600,000 of that was in the fourth. We started delivering product at an EBIT of 27%. We're already cash flow positive, but we need capital to fuel growth. Our business is highly scalable. The same core hardware and tracking software can be used across multiple applications with minor modifications. We outsource manufacturing to an EMS provider, an electronic manufacturing service provider. We rely on our integrators to supply market-specific know-how in application development, sales, and service. 4 of the 7 systems we shipped in the fourth quarter were sold by our integrators. We're projecting forward earnings of $457,000 for 2012 and a corresponding valuation of $9.6 million. We're anticipating a CAGR of 78% from 2011 to 2015. We're currently seeking to raise $500,000 with a maximum $945,000. The proceeds will be used for application engineering and new markets, working capital, and sales and marketing. Additional proceeds beyond $500,000 will be applied to improve our receiver technology to increase capacity. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. So that sounds really interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what questions our judges have. George, why don't we start with you? What questions do you have for Steve?
Well, I can see how something like this is really exciting, especially at the high end, but I'm curious as to the range of it. At the lowest end, what kind of customer are you possibly interested in? For instance, if I just wanted to make an installation that would tell me once at the beginning of the day where all of my slot machines are located in relation to each other. Is that something that, you know, okay, is it worthwhile doing something like that?
I can barely hear you. I got about a quarter of your... Yes, I can.
Okay, let's go for this.
Yes.
What is an example of the lowest cost installation that you'd be interested in tackling at this point? And what kind of installation could we get from that? In other words, how many things could we track?
How many people can we track?
Well, and in a low cost installation, what am I paying for that?
Again, I'm hearing about every 5th word. I think I've heard 2 questions. One was, how many people can you track? We typically, on most of our installations, track 10 to 20 people with an update rate of once a second. The cost of a system like that might be $25,000. They're typically used in a high value situation, such as in a corrections facility or a nuclear facility where safety of life is an issue.
Great. Axa, are you with us?
Yeah.
Okay, terrific.
So,
Go ahead with your question.
yeah, very interesting stuff. One question, does it require for the trackee, the person being tracked, to wear some sort of hardware, or is it just
Yes, it does.
automatically tracking their...
Yes, you do wear an act. We have a tag that's about the size of a pack of cigarettes.
What's the range? What's the range in technology like that? And I'm really
That's one of the advantages that we have over. That's one of the advantages we have over competing systems. Our receivers can have a range to 100 to 150 feet. In typical applications, we typically place the receivers about 75 feet from the user. We can go through walls, so we don't need the direct line of sight that competing high-frequency systems need.
Okay, interesting. My other question was about your money to scale. You said $500,000. You need $500,000 to scale.
Yes, we do.
And at the same time, you said that your revenue last year was 1.5 million.
Yes.
What's the difference between, your sort of between your margin and how much you need to scale? And why not just sort of, if you only need $500,000, do you not have enough coming in from your margin to be able to pull that off?
Our earnings projected for this year is $407,000. Since we're just starting last quarter to ship production hardware, we're finding we're needing money for some inventory before we're able to sell it. Eventually, the profitability of the hardware, which was extremely high in December, will self-fulfill that, but we need some money to bootstrap the sales up for this year.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve. Hopefully, Axa, that answer your question? Okay, terrific. So it looks like we're running out of time for the Q&A. We're going to move right into the feedback. Axa, why don't you start by giving us your feedback, please?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting technology, and the only things that somebody like me would be confused about is the size of the market, really. I understand there's several of them, but your immediate market versus your market a few years down the line, that would really help out trying to figure out where you guys are trying to go.
Axa,
yeah, we see the market growing just like GPS did.
Cool. 3.8.
3.8. Okay. Excellent. What about you, George?
I give it a 4.0. It's solid, if not glamorous. And I guess that my little heart would wish that it could be made a little more glamorous. Maybe this isn't the place for that, but it sure would be nice to have a pretty picture painted of what I, as a customer, could do with the technology that would make my life better. I know that's a little tricky, but I have faith in you, Steve, and I think that you can do that. 4.0, and thank you. And can you hear me?
Steve, were you able to catch that feedback?
I caught about half of it. The score was 4.0, and I missed part of that. I heard something about make life better.
George was just saying that if there's a way that you can sort of make this a little more glamorous and allow for the user to be able to understand what this can do to make their life better, that would be really helpful as far as your pitch goes.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I hope to see you here with us again in the Sweet 16 round. I'm sure we will, and hopefully you can take this feedback and perhaps apply it and come back with a little bit more glamorous of a pitch, as George asked for.
There are just 2 scores this week?
Yes, just 2. We'll average those and we'll take them into account with the difference in having 2 scores versus the 3 from last week.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so do we have Mashup with us? Okay, looks like we're working on getting our next startup with us. In the meantime, we've got George here in the studio, okay, well, I was going to give George a little bit of time to talk and talk about what his interests are and how he feels about startups, but I'm getting the cue to move on. We're working with a little bit of time here. Really excited to have Mashup here with us again. With that being said, why don't you start your 2 minutes now, Mashup?
Hey guys, my name is Hatham, CEO of Mashup Media, and we run the website mashup.com. Mashup.com is growing to be the ultimate online music service. We all know that song we all used to play in our first car. We know about that song in our favorite movie that brings back all those memories and moments. Well, what Mashup is all about is bringing together music, memories, and moments. We're allowing a user to be able to play, share, and discover. With our cloud service, a user is allowed to upload all their music and access it on any mobile device. Apple, Android, BlackBerry, Windows, Google TV, Apple TV. Also, Mashup allows a user to build their life soundtrack. There, a user is able to tell their life story through their digital album collection. They can be able to allow you tell their life through their music, through the concerts they've been to, through their memories of music. One of the things we use to visualize is your digital.
Hatham, it looks like you're cutting in and out. Can you check on your mic, please?
Little CD tower. Digital, and that's what we're trying to bring together. What Mashup is doing is looking for, and we're really looking to hit our goal of 10 million free subscribers by May of 2014.
Okay, thank you so much, Hatham. I hope that our home viewers, as well as our
did I get time?
Most of it.
Oh.
Towards the end, you were cutting out a little bit. Yeah, can you hear us? You can't hear.
Give it a second. The line has to unclog.
All right, well, in the meantime, I will just talk to our home viewers. What we need and what these startups really need is to get traction. If you're already watching agorastartupidol.com, you're already working on helping us get exactly what we need. Our goal is to get 100,000 users for some of these startups by May 1st. So just log on to agorastartupidol.com, click on the subscribe button, and you know, this has great rewards for you as well. You can get B dollars, which you can spend like regular cash. In fact, there's so many rewards that you can qualify for, including things like a Starbucks gift card. You can get spa days, furniture, all kinds of things. So hopefully you'll tell your friends, your family about it. You'll get you know, a lot of people involved here. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take this viral. And Hatham, do we have you back?
I'm here.
Okay, awesome. You know what? I'll give you
I'm here.
30 seconds to a minute if you could just finish up what you were saying, because we couldn't hear the last 30 seconds or so.
All right. Well, again, what Mashup is trying to do everything people love about music together. Cloud music, sharing of music, discovery of music, and is soon to be a marketplace for music. We've got 30,000 users worldwide. We're in 69 countries, and we're on every major platform. Really, we want to bring that emotional attachment people have with their music. We don't want you just to listen to music. We want you to tell your life story through your music. We want you to digitally present your music library to your followers, and we want you to be able to tell who you are, where you've been, and where you're going through your music, your concerts, and everything about music.
Okay, terrific. Yeah, I think what you're doing really comes through with your pitch. And let's move on to the Q&A and see what questions the judges have for you. George, why don't we start with you? What questions do you have?
Please tell us once again where there was a nice little piece of the pitch that we got to after a while last time we spoke, and I'd like to hear that again. What's the relationship between the old album covers and record collections, and what mentioned?
Well, here's the thing. Unlike those other sites, we don't want to just give you music. We want to give you the early 80s, any house you went into, you had your tape collection. 90s, 2000s, any house you went into always had that CD tower rack. Well, there is no platform for you to display your album cover art a lot of people would invest a lot of money and time into collecting and building their music library. What we're trying to do is let you display that music library to your friends, family, any of your followers. Music tells 1,000 words about it. I can tell who you are through that music.
All right, I think hopefully that answers George's question. I think, it does provide a lot of helpful information to our home viewers about mashup.com. Asker, why don't we take it to you?
Yeah, so my questions were along the lines of how is this, how do you see this playing out in a world where there's Spotify as well as I understand that Facebook does not let you have a location. It has a small location for you to show some album art. How do you guys see yourself playing in that kind of ecosystem?
Well, Mashup has its own social network built in that's tied in with Facebook and Twitter. It uses curation. So you're going to build your life soundtrack by filling your life soundtrack through the music that you have in your album collection, through digital artwork, through concerts you pick to, pictures, videos, anything like that. And what that's going to allow you to do is visit other people's walls and discover new music. You're not going to be taking recommendations from Spotify, Pandora's search engines. You're taking recommendations from people you trust, friends, family, internet connections, or internet networks. Also, we're building this on our own your music platform rather than a rent your music. With Pandora, truly what you're doing is renting your music. We're targeting the market that likes purchasing music and takes pride in owning their music and wants to build their music collection. They're just having problems finding that music. We're bringing that discovery through our curation. And how that works is if you pull your whole cloud, you upload your whole iTunes library to our cloud, you can automatically display all that music within seconds.
All right, thank you.
My follow-up question is, in that case where you're uploading all your music, like Google Music, like iTunes, iCloud, how do you see yourself competing with those services in that case?
Google Music is just Android driven. We're cross-platform. We're on iPhone, we're on Android, we're on BlackBerry, we're on Windows 7.5, we're on Apple TV, we're on Google TV. Also, with iCloud, if you want to stream your music, you have to download that back from the cloud onto your device. With Mashup, you're not taking up any storage on any mobile device. It's all streaming directly from the cloud. And what's really going to separate us from those other sites is a strong social network to help people discover music and a great marketplace where they can purchase that music and it's automatically going to sync into their cloud.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, guys. I think we're running out of time for Q&A, so we're going to move right into our feedback section. And judges, please remember to give your score. A score from 1 to 5 would be terrific. George, why don't we start with you? Feedback and score, no questions.
No question.
No question.
I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna ask a question.
Because we already had our Q&A. We're in the
Are we in a
feedback.
hurry? Why are you talking to me? We're in a hurry.
We are in fact in a hurry. We're 30 minutes behind schedule,
Here's
so.
something I'm gonna give you I was gonna give you a 4.9, but she's just got me in a terrible mood. It's gotta be a 4.2. I wanna hear the pitch with more clarity next time. I need to hear the pitch with clarity. I need to hear that, not so much pie in the sky. We want you to live your music. We want you to manipulate your music. I want to know that I am owning music. I am showing people what music I have, and I want to see pictures, what it looks like to play on Mashup. I need to see a hand picture.
Please don't take 0.7 away from him because you're frustrated with me, George. If you want to give him a 4.9, we would be happy for you to do that.
The truth is, I was going to give him about a 2, but all of a sudden my coffee kicked in. So then it went up to 4.9, now it's back down. So I think we've got pretty realistic.
All right, 4.2. So Haitham, well, let me move on to Asker before.
So my two advices are to talk about your revenue model so that people can understand, where your money would come from, so that it's sort of to more alleviate the fear of advertising or selling information. And the other thing is you might want to consider building a Facebook app to compete with people like Spotify. That's that's my thought.
We do have one, but go.
Good. My score is 4.8.
4.8. Okay, awesome. Haitham, I'm pretty sure we'll be actually hearing a lot from mashup.com. I'm probably seeing you on Twitter and Facebook pretty soon, and I think you'll be back for Sweet 16. Thank you so much for being with us today, and best of luck.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you guys all. Take care.
You too.
All right, so our next startup is Talent Wire, and we should have Talent Wire with us in just a minute. So in the meantime, oh, here we go. Talent Wire's here. Is it Sam?
Sam's actually, he has a family emergency right now. I'm Cheyenne. I'm our CTO and technical co-founder. So okay. I'll be pitching you guys today.
Awesome. Okay, so your 2 minutes start now. Go for it.
Hey guys, I'm Cheyenne. I'm from UCSB, University of California, Santa Barbara, and I'm a part of Talent Wire. And basically what we do is we have a talent community where younger professionals, more experienced professionals, and students can actually come together, share, mentor, and learn. So we have 3 different boards, one in which you could post your school projects or what you're currently working on. Me, myself, I'm a computer science student, so this was extremely applicable to me. So for instance, I'm able to share work, schoolwork, code that I'm working on and get real feedback in real time from someone in the industry, from other classmates, or from other people in my field. This also applies for every other category that we are applied to. And one of our coolest boards is our mentorship board, in which I can ask a question, me and my fellow classmates who may have cold feet about the industry, we're not exactly sure how to apply our school skills to the actual industry. We can ask questions such as, how can we apply our data structures class or assembly class to landing that job at Facebook? How can we really get that good insight to what those companies want? So you have this really nice, comfortable feedback going back and forth between the students and companies. And if you sign into our site, you could see some of the great feedback a lot of students have already gotten. And as you are sharing to our boards and you're posting and you're collaborating, all the work that you're actually posting is actually appended to your profile. So no matter how thin your resume may be, if you had a job at Starbucks and maybe that's the only thing you've done, yet you're an amazing Android programmer, all your work is appended right there to your profile. So regardless of your previous job titles or however thin your resume is, you really
Shane, you've got 15 seconds.
Sure. It could show that you can walk the walk without really talking the talk. And so that's what Talent Wire is all about. Thank you, guys.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to move right into our Q&A. And Oscar, why don't we start with you this time?
Great. Very good presentation, especially for CTO. So my question to you is, first of all, is there anything there protecting my work that I'm asking people sort of input on from just being copied and taken? I'm not sure if that's even a problem, but you know.
Well, you wouldn't really be sharing extreme amounts of your work. You could post screenshots, you could post snippets of code, just a little few things. You could talk about the projects that you're working on. So just enough to get the ball rolling, get a conversation started, and get some real nice feedback from the people around you.
Interesting. The other point I wanted to ask was, why would people who are, you know, not students be on the site providing advice?
Sure. I mean, a lot of the people on our site also want to see what other talent is out there, and they want to see exactly what's new and upcoming and developing. One of the boards that I forgot to tell you about is our trend board, in which is all just new and upcoming technologies, or it depends, just new things in your field. So if we were in software engineering, it would be new programming language, new guidelines. If we were in the music section, it would be new equipment or something, or new recording
What kind of guitar is that?
Right. It's my roommate's guitar. It's a Heineken guitar.
Oh, you don't know if it's a Fender or a Les Paul.
Oh, but this thing shreds, I guarantee you.
All right.
I'm in college right now, so you're getting the college perspective.
Nice. Well, you know, startups, many of our startups are starting up young, so that's a good thing. George, we'll move right on to you with the Q&A.
What do you mean all my work is appended to them? That's hilarious. Okay, so like let's say if you and I were on a board together and I was saying, yeah, you know, this is what I'm doing about judging and I'm just gonna throw junk at you and try to get my question answered. You're saying that that's getting put up there as though it were my carefully trimmed and adjusted resume?
George, what exactly I mean here, your mic is very low, but I'm pretty sure I understood you, is exactly what you are posting to our respective boards.
I'll take the time break to mention that.
Now you can hear me all right, can't you?
This is magic. We just magically brought him into the shot.
All right, now start over again. Can you answer my question again?
Oh, yes. So, for instance, when you're posting to our boards, our due and our trend board, which is what you're working on and what's new and upcoming, and you're collaborating there, that is actually what's appended to your profile. So it's all really relevant to who you are, depending on what your interest or skill set is.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Cheyenne. Cheyenne or Cheyenne?
Cheyenne.
Okay, Cheyenne. Perfect. So I believe that concludes our Q&A. Why don't I just start with George, since he's sitting right here. So George, why don't you give us some feedback for TalentWire as well as your score?
My convenient location has put me in the position of being the first to give you a score. The score that I give to you today is 4.0. I would like to have a little more context on how much of this exists now and what the experience is realistically right now. I mean, you said if you could log on to our boards now. I have no idea if I really can.
You sure can.
Okay. Well, how would I log on to your board?
Just go talentwire.me. It's a one-click login through Facebook.
Okay. Well, I will try that. That probably ought to be said at some point in the pitch, I think. Makes it, and then if you have any plans for it to go further in the future, or if you're just really proud of what you've done now. So I'm out, and there's my score.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Awesome. So I hope that was helpful to you, and I hope it'll be helpful to the rest of the team at TalentWire. I'll move on to Aksar before we wrap up here.
Yeah, it would be, and maybe I missed it, but it would be really interesting knowing about your needs and your overall, your ways of actually making money from this thing, maybe your traction as well. It does seem like a very interesting concept, and when I was starting my first company at the University of Santa Barbara, definitely would have loved to work with something like this.
Thank you.
And the score, 4.3.
Okay. Well, awesome, Cheyenne. It was really great to have you today. I hope you make it to the Sweet 16. I hope the feedback helped you. And most of all, I hope you get a lot of traction out of this. Perhaps, get your friends to log on to Agora Startup Idol at UCSB and of course, support your startup. So hopefully we'll be seeing you again very soon. Thank you.
Yes, take care.
Oh, say hi to Sam for us.
I will. Thank you.
Oh, we're